Alright, in this video I'm going to share with you the story that I didn't give you all the details of. Which video was that? UAE expats and Indians, be careful. Okay, which video? Video number 7670. Okay, the title is UAE expats and Indians, be careful, UAE booming market, employment and problems ahead. Okay, so I was giving an example about a story, a real story that happened, true story of how expatriate in Dubai, UAE, built a company, a brand from scratch, okay, established it, and then once it reached the peak, they actually kicked him out. Okay, so I will share that story with you. It's a true story. However, I will give you one disclaimer. One is, obviously, I can't give you specific names. Okay, that is number one. Second one is, I need you to understand that I came to know of this story from this person now, how many years ago? When I was 35, 36. So I'm 47 now. So nearly 11, 12 years ago. 11, 12 years ago, I came to know of this story. So some of the details might be pretty hazy. So don't crucify me and say, hey, you said this last time. The central theme of the story will be perfect, will be actual. The minute details might be a little up or down and all that. So, you know, some of you are like so obsessed with each and every detail. You'll be like, hey, you said this last time. There were, for example, there were 2 guys and now you said there are 3 guys. And, you know, he was driving a red car and now you said it's a blue car. So just forgive me for this. But the central theme of the story is very true. And I will do my best, drinking my karak chai, give you the actual story. Watch this at 1.5x speed so that, you know, I can get the gist of the whole thing. One second. You should not wait for this to get cold here. One second. Okay. All right. So this guy is a South Indian, Keralite, and I had known him for a couple of years, I think 4-5 years in Toastmasters. Okay, I knew him from 4-5 years in Toastmasters, and we, you know, hi, how are you, bye, and he used to see me speak, I used to see him speak. He was not a very great speaker, but he wanted to improve his communication skills, while me, on the other hand, I didn't have a great career at all, but I had great communication skills. So I was one of those pampered brats who believed he was going to be the next multi-billionaire. Okay. I was a big egoistic hothead. So what happened is I used to always bump into these people who had a spectacular career, but they were not good at public speaking. So, you know, they used to admire me and give me that respect. They were being humble, while I thought they were being awed by my greatness. So that is where I bumped into him the first time, him and his wife. However, you know, life has its twists and turns and ups and downs. And eventually, I had left Toastmasters after being with them for 16 years. And I started my own training. I started my own coaching training business from zero, from scratch. That was after my 2011, you know, I lost everything. So I rebranded myself and started coaching and training people. And obviously, the people that I knew from Toastmasters, I used to send them emails or messages, you want to come for a training, just come and have a look and all that. So there were some people who felt I could add value to them and they would come for my sessions. I would conduct free seminars, you know, free seminars, free workshops. So people would come in just to see, and if they liked it, then I would tell them, why don't you come down to my house once a week? I have the sessions where if you like it, then we can talk of the payment. So this guy came for one of my free sessions. Okay, he came for one of my free sessions, and him and me have a, I think, 15-year age gap. He's 15 years elder to me. Okay. So he came for one of the sessions and he liked the sessions, and then he said, Loy, I'd like to come to your house for a training session just to see what it is. he came there and he liked that also. Okay, then he said, Loy, how much do you charge for, what is your charges? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, what? So I outlined it and he said, Loy, I would like to join you for, I'm not too sure of this, whether it was 3 months or 6 months, but he said, I'd like to join you, and he made the payment. Okay, it was not too expensive. It just come once a week. And I used to make it fun. I used to share with them videos. We used to have lunch and very family oriented kind of thing. So one day after the session, now I was not aware of what's happening behind the scenes and why he wants to be trained and all that. One fine day he said, Loy, just want to sit and talk to you, and yeah, just want to, I need some of your services. So, okay, fine. I asked to do resume rebranding, interview coaching and all that even that time. But it had just started. So one day he told me, Loy, I want to redo my resume and I would like some of your tips on interview coaching. And I was like, don't you have a good job and all that? And he said, no, Loy, I just got laid off. I would like your coaching. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I didn't know where he was working, what he was doing, nothing. So as we were sitting and making his resume, obviously he wanted to make it more contemporary, more. And that was where he told me what had actually happened. And I saw his designation. He was working for this computer brand. Okay, I don't want to take the name of the brand. This computer brand, which was, it was like a household name in the Middle East, household name. Okay, almost every single person, not, I mean personal, we are talking of companies, okay? Every company would have this as their go-to laptop, okay? Go-to computer. So I was like, this is a very popular brand and all that. And so I was like, so you were associated with this company and this brand? He said, yeah, Loy. And then he shocked me by telling me, I was the one who introduced this brand in the UAE market. And from the UAE, I introduced it in the Middle East. So then I asked him, if you introduced it, if you bought it, why did they throw you out, or why did you leave? And that is where he told me the story. Okay, now I'll try to make it in a nutshell. When this company decided, okay, we need to expand in the Middle East, they chose Dubai as the place where they would establish themselves first. And they needed someone who could, penetrate into the market and bring this product out. And lo and behold, they chose him. So, South Indian guy, he knows Hindi, he knows Malayalam, which was a very, almost all the Indians, majority of the Indians in UAE are from South India, Kerala. Okay, especially Keralite Muslims. So he is not a Keralite Muslim, but he was Keralite. Okay, so they decided they would take him, but I don't think they took him because he was South Indian or because he was Keralite, but because I think he had IT background and he had a prowess in sales. So they took him, and they had just established themselves with skeleton staff. Okay, so he decided to take up the sales and marketing of this brand. And right off the bat, what he decided is, see his genius. Right off the bat, he decided, instead of going corporate to corporate, company to company, and trying to sell them a package deal, why not only corporates, make this household, make this very common. So he approached Lulu, the Lulu Group, Lulu, which is run by Yusuf Ali. Now, Lulu was, when Lulu started, it started with just one supermarket, and that also, it started in Karama. If, for those of you who have been a long time in UAE, Yusuf Ali used to drive a meat pickup truck. He used to deliver in Abu Dhabi, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's a story that I heard so long back. So when they set up Lulu in Karama, it's a landmark location near the parking spot. So they set up one, then they purchased the next place. Now they had 2 Lulus, and then they built a building on top, and they took the whole building. I mean, it was crazy the way Lulu was expanding. Okay, forgive me for jumbling up the story of how they grew. Maybe you'd know better. But Lulu was expanding at a rapid pace, and every single location where there were Indians or middle class people or Filipinos or Bangladeshis or Sri Lankans. They would open it there, and their strategy was to make the prices as affordable as possible, as cheap as possible, with the maximum discount. Well, over the period of time, they started to play around with the prices, and where they would make the maximum money, they would squeeze the vendors, they would squeeze everyone, they squeeze you for the terms of payment, because he's a sharp businessman. Indians are very sharp, especially South Indians, especially Keralites, and especially Keralite Muslims. Okay, so that is a story, another story in itself. So they used to bring the brands, and the brands that would give the lowest prices and the best offers, they would just put it right in the front, and they would give these amazing pamphlets, colorful like newspaper kind of pamphlets, 4 pages, 2 pages or whatever, where they would highlight with red and yellow a special offer: onions, tomatoes, meat, fish, whatever. So he approached Lulu because they were growing like crazy, and he must have given them a great deal. He met up with all the staff were Keralite, were South Indian. So obviously he's from Kerala, another Keralite. And one thing about Keralites is, when a Keralite meets a Keralite, they'll always speak in Malayalam. And if they're Malayali, they'll start. Okay, I have Malayali roots, so I know this, and I have Malayali friends, and I know this, but I don't know Malayalam. So they'll talk in Malayalam, and that is how you establish common ground. So he spoke to the purchase manager and convinced him to start selling that brand of laptop there, and he must have given them a fantastic price, lower than what they were selling outside, and he must have given them amazing credit payment. Like, you don't have to pay now, you can pay after 30 days or 60 days or something like that. He made it so attractive, they were more than happy to feature their laptops, their computers, right in the front, because they're getting the maximum benefit out of it. No, Lulu is benefiting the maximum. So every other brand was pushed at the back, their brand was pushed right in the front. And because Lulu was expanding like so crazy, it was everywhere, every single place. When you went to the IT section, their laptops, their peripherals, their computers were all in the front. And obviously Indians, if they see a special offer, they see a bright yellow and red, a special offer with a big X. It was 6,000 before, now we're selling half price, and people go bananas. These strategies, people fall for it. Very soon, those laptops started to fly off the shelves. People, household, they started to buy it. People who would work in companies where the company would not purchase a laptop, they started to buy this laptop, very affordable, good warranty, everything. And when they would approach corporates, he did the same strategy, followed the same. Find a common ground, find an Indian, speak to them Malayalam, give them amazing credit facility, give them pay later. He just wanted each and every person, each and every company to have their brand. And lo and behold, their sales started to skyrocket. It just went up and up and up and up and up. And obviously when they realized, the company realized we are doing very well, they decided to establish their headquarters in Dubai, free zone. And from, having a skeleton staff from 10 people or 12 people or 15 people or whatever, became 20 people, became 50 people, became 70, 100, kept growing. Okay. And I'll tell you, Indians really work their asses off. When they want to prove themselves, they really work. And it's a known fact, whether you go to United States, whether you go any part of the world, Indians, especially the first generation, they're very focused. For them, work is worship, worship is God. Okay. And they are, they are not shy to work. They'll roll up their sleeves and they'll work, slog it out. That is why the favorite nationalities to employ are Indians. Okay, I don't know about today's generation. I'm not talking of generation alpha, whatever. I'm talking of the people who are today, whose age is 60. Okay, so, and obviously as the company was growing, his designation started to grow, his salary started to grow, and I think he had maybe an annual bonus or whatever for the sales targets met. And every month after month after month, he would not only achieve his target, he would cross their targets. And very soon they became big, and now they wanted to expand to Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman. Obviously a company wants to grow. That was where they made the mistake. Or you could say that was the beginning of the end, for him at least. See, one thing which I've noticed through my time in Dubai, when they want to start, they will get a particular set of staff, and especially Indians, they will get them. But once they start achieving money, they make money, they become rich, they become big. They forget their roots. They forget how did they start. Money goes to people's heads and they think no end of themselves. And this is the same thing that happened with whichever management was at the top, the board. They decided, okay, we need to have a very global outlook. We need to look international. We need to appeal to the, the upper crust of society or whatever. Okay. We need to appeal to the Westerners and the Emiratis and all that. The top creme de la creme. And they decided we need to have staff that can relate to them. And what did they decide? Okay, we'll get Emiratis on board. Big salaried, well-educated Emiratis. And just in case you're not aware, in the Gulf countries, in the Middle East, the Arab countries, an Indian, for example, if an Indian gets 10,000, a Western passport holder for the same job will be paid 3 to 4 times to 5 times more. 10,000, they'll be paid 50,000. And if you have to get an Emirati, you have to pay for the same job, for the same response, everything. Maybe you will pay him instead of 10,000 Indian, 100,000 for an Emirati. I'm just giving you a rough comparison to make you understand. In some companies, I've even seen 8, 10, 12, 15 times more the salary. So imagine you can employ 15 Indians for the salary that you're paying one Emirati. Okay. Now, you can say it's racist, you can say whatever, but this is how the country functions. And this is how even multinationals, they do. They have a separate HR for Emiratis, separate set of rules for them. And the reason why they pay Western expats more, because they always have this fascination with the Westerners, whites, and they think they are very smart. And also, let's be fair, there is a massive problem in India because the population is so high. There is an excessive supply problem. They have so much of supply that there is no value. Say, Rolex is rare because it's not easily available. But if you have something like Casio, there's no value for it. So it's same like that. So even if the Casio and Rolex both say do the same thing, it's a perception, right? So they decided we need to, show a very big classy image. Let's get Emiratis. Okay, fine. Let's get some white guys. But now if you have to break into sales, our white boys, the Westerners, they are not going to go, especially when it's a volume-based product. If it is like a retail, let's say real estate, like one villa which is 60 million or 100 million, okay, you can have one person have one VIP client, like a Rolls Royce. But if you're talking of volume, you need someone who appeals to the masses. So they decided to get someone who looked white, who had a white passport, but who could appeal to the target audience that they had, that was Arabs. They wanted someone who could speak to the Arabs, the Emiratis, and the business community, and the people who spoke English. So they managed to get I think it was a Lebanese. Here is where I'm not too sure if my story is accurate, but they did get a different nationality. Now, what happens is, here's one lesson you need to learn. Once the upper management changes, they always, 99.99%, once upper management changes, they change everyone from up to down. Okay? If down people change, nothing happens to the upper management. But if the upper management changes, they changes everyone. That is why when the owner brings his son, everything changes. The son brings in new blood or new creativity or new workforce. Or if they bring new management, they will completely discount the wisdom, the experience of the olden staff, and they think they are bringing in new, fresh blood or fresh ideas. So lo and behold, because they bought this Lebanese guy and they bought in Arab, Egyptians and Syrian and, Moroccan or whatever, they decided they would bring people who spoke English and Arabic. They were just like, there are too many Indians around. Okay, fine. But now when they started to bring all this, obviously there'll be ego clashes. People with, 5, 10, 15, 20 years experience, and you're just coming new. So even if your ages are the same, you're not going to listen to someone who's just come as a new kid on the block. Even if, maybe they are slightly highly educated, they'll be like, listen, you're just new here. But they have their ego. And the worst part was they appointed some people at a very senior position to give barking orders to these people who have been there for very many years. So now you started to have clashes. And given the fact that this guy, this client of mine, he had a track record, he proved year after year after year. Now he was not going to change his strategy, especially something that worked all this while. So this new boss of his was telling him, no, I want you to change the strategy. So friction started to build up, tension started to build up. He wanted him to do things this way, but he wouldn't do things this way. He was not rude to him, but he would do things in a particular way. And this went on, the tension started to build up to the point it became suffocating. Okay. Now remember, this guy is at a very senior level. He is like the regional sales manager, regional head. So everything was reaching a boiling point, and he knew that the writing was on the wall. But he knew for a fact, given he had given 10 or 15 years or whatever of his blood, sweat and tears, established the company from scratch, they wouldn't throw him out. At least that's what he thought. One fine day, as usual, here once again, I'm not very clear exactly what happened, but this is how it happened. Okay. You can just take it with a pinch of salt. He had his company car, paid by the company, whatever, drove, security gate opened, he drove, he has his, parking which is reserved for him, parked it there, got out of the car, just like any other normal day, got and went into the office, electronic doors, you have that badge, it opens up, okay. And not anyone can just come in. So he walked in and the reception, morning sir, morning. And he opened, went inside, climbed up the stairs, went to his big office. Okay. And he walked in and sat on his desk. He had a big office. And he sat down there. And then all of a sudden he gets a call. And they said, Sir, they have just called you down to the reception. He said, for what? Saying, sir, they have just called you for the reception. There's something the HR person wants to talk to you. Like, why didn't they come in? No, sir, they want to speak to you. Okay, fine. All right. He didn't think anything much of it. He got up from his chair, went down at the reception. When he landed at the reception, he could see that person was not there. The reception said, he asked him, where is the person? No, sir, just have a seat. They will come. Oh, okay, fine, whatever. So he was just like thinking, he took out his BlackBerry or whatever. He was checking out his emails and all that. All of a sudden, the HR came with 2 security guards. Now, he looks up and he sees this and he sees 2 security, the very same security guards that know him. They've known him for years and then they call him sir. And they said, Mr. So-and-so, can you please give your badge? And he's like, what? We would like your badge. So for what? So there's a security, protocol. Confused, he was like, here you go, what? And then they said, sir, if you come with us to the HR, they just want to speak to you. He couldn't understand what the hell was going on. Now here, once again, I'm a little hazy, okay? So I don't know whether the HR came down or he went to the HR, so take it with a pinch of salt. But as he met the HR, whatever, he was immediately given a paper and said, we just wanted to inform you that you have been terminated. Okay. Obviously, they would speak to him, not, in front of the security, whatever. You have been terminated. They gave him the paper and he was like, I don't understand what. And nothing but the message was, you're terminated and you're not allowed to go to your office. You are asked to go home and we will get back to you. And he was completely shocked, taken aback. Because imagine, he has given 10, 15 years of his life, same office, same people, same every day. He built up everything. All of them are like junior staff. And now he's being told, you're not required. And he was like, and then he was trying to just, let this thing sink in. And he was like, okay, can I at least go to my office and take my things? And that is why they said, okay, they maybe didn't think about it. They spoke to it. They said, fine, you can go with the security guy and take whatever. Just imagine the way they were treating him. So he went up with these two security guys, standing there as if he's going to steal something. And in front of them and an HR, he took whatever in a couple of boxes or whatever. And, security guys kind of helped him. And then he took all of it, this thing. And remember, it's a company car. And they even asked him, we would like you to hand over the company cars, the keys. He said, how am I supposed to go home? Just imagine how they're treating him. Then the HR person thought, and okay, fine, you can take it and we can talk about it later. Just imagine the embarrassment. He took all his stuff, whatever, went to the car, kept it all inside, made sure. Obviously, they have the badge. And they said, we will contact you. I'll tell you, even when I picture all this, whether they spoke to him at the reception or whether they spoke to him in the office, the way they treated him, for a man who built the company from scratch. I remember the words he had told me. He said, Loy, when I drove back home, I was completely lost. He's saying, so many years of my life, or 10 or 15 years, every single day, I would get up in the morning, go to the office. It became such a routine. It was my home. It was like my family. It was everyone who I knew. And he's saying, my schedule was such, I didn't know anything else other than this. And I would go back home every day, exhausted and tired, and get up in the morning, come back in. And he said, I worked on a Thursday, those days, Thursday and Friday. Thursday was half day, Friday was off, and Saturday was work day. He's saying, even my Thursdays and Fridays, I would go to work. Even during my day off, I would go to work. He's saying, all of a sudden, now I'm sitting at home. When I came back home, later on, his wife asked her, hey, you came back home, and he didn't know how to tell her this. And when he did tell her, they were both sitting in total silence. Like, they didn't know what to say. And over the next period of days, it was nothing but emptiness eating up inside. It kills you inside, man. It's like you give your life to someone and they betrayed you. After a few days, it seems, I don't know, 3-4 days or whatever, I can't recollect. It seems he was told to come back again, hand over the car, the keys. They would check and they would pay off his gratuity, whatever, and he could go back home. And he said, Loy, that day when I went there, he's saying that feeling, that emptiness that was there inside, he's saying, I felt as if someone kicked me in my stomach so badly. It's like I couldn't breathe. He's saying, I wanted to burst out crying. He's saying, I just held myself. And as I went there, signed the document, signed everything, handed over the keys. He's saying, where once upon a time, everyone used to stand and say, morning, sir, greet me. They just looked at me with this uncomfortable, this thing like, hi, sir, and they just kept quiet. They looked down. Because they knew I was like desecrated. It was like I was humiliated. Imagine the people that he knew for years, they were looking at him and they didn't know whether to stand or sit or they just looked down. He's saying the very same people who used to look up to me and smile and wish me, they were looking down. They were not even giving me eye contact. And nobody in the company. Once upon a time, everyone used to come running to him. Nobody in the company came to him, spoke to him, even gave a kind word, not even called him. Nobody called him. He took his money, he took everything, took the check or whatever. And Just imagine the poor fellow, he gave the car and then he had to call a cab. They didn't even drop him back home. He had to take a cab and go back home. And he's saying it was the longest ride back home. He's saying, I didn't know what to do. And that whole experience was so traumatic for him. Once again, the details are kind of fuzzy, but it seems that nearly 3 months to 6 months, he couldn't get this out of his heart. It hurt him so much. Imagine you gave 10, 15 years of your life only to be treated like this, where you thought you would retire with this one company. They threw you out on the road with nothing. And he said, Loy, I never planned that I would lose my job. I never even made my CV because I didn't need it. He's saying those days I used to get job offers from companies which were ready to pay me double the salary, triple the salary. The positions of almost like CEO. They wanted me to be the director. Because I was known in the market, there was so much of demand. He's saying, but I refused all to be loyal to these people. Even though I was getting double or triple the salary, even though I was getting double or triple the benefits, even though I was getting the CEO position, I said no, because I believed in this brand, I believed in this loyalty. Saying I regretted that so badly. He's saying I chose to be loyal to them, but they chose to betray me. And here's the unfortunate bit. After he got terminated, all those offers vanished. Nobody wanted him. When he was in a position of power, everyone wanted him. But now that he was not in a position of power, nobody wanted him. Not those companies, and best part, once upon a time, every person used to call him on his BlackBerry 24/7. Nobody called him. Nobody sent him a message. Nobody even shared this, nothing. Okay? And where once upon a time, they would call him and he would pick up their phone and he would do favors for them. When it was his turn to ask them for help and for favors, nobody picked up. Everyone was busy. I'll get back to you. And it went on like this for, 6 months, 1 year, until he couldn't take it anymore. Because, agreed, he had money in the bank and he had everything, but, there's only so much you can stay without doing anything, right? And here my memory is slightly hazy because he had a visa. I don't know if they cancelled it immediately. I'm being honest with you, I don't remember whether they cancelled, didn't cancel, or he took another visa, whatever. But he did need a visa. And I am not too sure, but I think he took a free zone visa or he took his own visa, whatever. I'm not too clear about that. Today, anyway, they offer you visas for every single thing. And he has a 10-year visa. Okay. He has a golden visa. Golden visa, I think 10 years, yeah. So he had come to me, and as he told me this story, I could see the empty. I could feel it. I could literally feel it. And I'll tell you, it literally took him another roughly 10 years. 10 years to bounce back. 5 years to get out of all this. And he started a new product with a new company from zero. Totally zero. I think being a partner, working partner, whatever. And then, unfortunately, when he was trying to establish, and it was nearly going to be established, COVID hit, and then it became a disaster again, but he didn't give up. He struggled for another 2-3 more years, and finally today, it's running well. It's not running well to the point where he's making millions and all that, but he is making enough money like he used to make in those days, and he is his own boss. He's doing very well, and he has crossed his 60s, and he said that, Loy, I'll do this maybe for another 10 years, 15 years, maybe I'll be 70, 75, and that'll be it. And today, obviously, he has his own employees, his own group of people working under him, new vendors, new suppliers. And, he saw the tide. And what happened to the company? Oh, well, you can say karma is a bitch or whatever. Every single person who replaced him after that, one by one, failed in their strategy. What worked, they didn't want to make it work. Their pride and arrogance got to them. They were actually laughing and mocking the customers. They were saying, oh, we don't want just Indians. We want high-paying whites and high-paying Emiratis. And where he had given them favorable payment terms, they changed the payment terms. The Lulu said, bugger off. If you're not going to give us special offers, if you're not going to give us good payment terms, and if you're not going to give us, whatever you have to pay us to take shelf, you can get lost. They said, okay, fine, we don't need you. We are a global brand. You are a just local brand. The biggest mistake, the minute they did that, whatever dominance they had, it seems they literally overnight, they lost 60% of their sales. 60%. Just by making enmities with just by breaking off the relationship with Lulu, 60% of their sales. This they realized only, I think, at the year end. That was the first mistake. The second mistake that they realized is they were focusing on only multinational companies and whites and Emiratis. Well, guess what? Whites and Emiratis and VIP and premier companies, they prefer, IBM, or they would prefer, those days, IBM, or they would go in for, top premium brands. In fact, Apple was growing at that time. So Apple also, they preferred to go in the Mac OS operating, ecosystem. So premium brands, they had already chosen who they wanted. You couldn't, compete with Apple. So they were left in no man's land. And by the time other brands started to pop up, competing brands, and they took over. And very soon this brand, which was established, lost out to new brands, Chinese brands, premium brands, and very soon they were directionless. So where do we go? Do we go to the, like for example, do you go to the Rolls-Royce price? Do you go to Toyota? Do you go to the mid-range? Where? And believe it or not, they got wiped out of the market. And all those idiots who occupied those big positions, they eventually resigned and they left because they realized we are on a sinking ship, better jump ship. And they jumped off. And in the end, who was left? Nobody. Just those lower level staff. And soon the company realized we have lost the market share. We have lost the sales. We are hemorrhaging. Well, very soon, having too many branches proved to be too much of an expense. They cut down staff. And when a company is going to collapse, the minute you start cutting down on staff, well, it spells the end. And this company shut down its operations completely. And today, if you go there, they no longer have a presence. So it's funny how life gets back at you. So where he had established a brand and they could have continued, greed, like instead of the goose that lays golden eggs, you want all the eggs at one go. Instead of respecting the white hairs of wisdom, of experience, of longevity, when you bring in this new blood, this excitement, this new creativity, oh, we will only target the whites and we'll only target the Emiratis and forget all this middle class, this large population, this large pool of people, they are the ones who are your customers. You ignore them, you will be nowhere. You keep thinking premium, ultra rich, they don't have any loyalty towards you. So they killed it. So today, at the age of 60 plus, he is running his own company. He's doing very well, but he's not repeating the same mistakes of the past. He's no longer loyal to, or, he knows the staff. Today they'll be loyal to you, tomorrow, bye-bye. And because he's at the top, nobody can replace him. Okay, so he's at the top. And he's not repeating that same mistake and replacing people who contributed to setting up the business. He's keeping them. And he told me, Loy, I'm very hands-on. So I make sure that I treat the long-time players with respect, whether it's a vendor, whether it's a customer, whether it is employees. And he's saying, slow and steady. We are not hyper ambitious. We are just one step at a time, being consistent. If we have achieved, let's say 100, next year will be 110. We are not going to go 100 and next year 200. No, 110, maintain. Then we'll go 120, maintain. 130, maintain. He's saying that's it. And we are just looking to keep going on. until it's time for me to hand over my roles and responsibilities to somebody else. And for that, I'm not going to bring in suddenly new blood. We'll make sure the transition, just like how they did with the Microsoft, just as how they did with the Apple, will mentor someone, bring them into the system, and over the period of the next 5, 6, 7 years or 10 years, then hand over. And that's what it is. So I don't know if this story added any value or perspective to you. I don't know if you learned anything from all this, but I just want to tell you that this is life. Whatever is the moral of the story, you can take from it, take it. But I'll just tell you one thing. The most important lesson that I can share with you is always be more loyal to yourself. Work harder on yourself than anybody else. Because end of the day, if you're loyal to a brand, you're loyal to a company, you're loyal to anyone else, one day they will tell you, thank you very much, bye-bye. And all those years of hard work, creativity, dedication that you've given them, they will keep it, but you'll be left nowhere. That is why I have only one loyalty, and that is to my brand. That is the Lulu Machedo brand. So whether I'm in Thailand, whether I go to India, whether I go to Vietnam, or whether I go to any other country, UK, anywhere, I carry Lulu Machedo with me. And that is why my channel is Lulu Machedo, my brand is Lulu Machedo. I work, and even the service, if anybody wants, only Lulu Machedo can give Lulu Machedo service and Lulu Machedo standard. So put your name in that equation. Just replace Lulu Machedo with your name. And remember, work hard on yourself, work hard on your brand, work hard on your services, work hard on your expertise, work hard on everything related to you. And then everything else. And let people know that if they want you, you're the only person that they can come to. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. Love to hear from you. And yeah, it was nice getting in touch with him after so long. And I'm glad that he's doing well. You guys take care. If you'd like to hear stories like this, true stories, not fake, just comment down below and say, yes, I would like to hear more. I still have a couple of them in my sleeve and I'll share them with you. You guys take care. This is me signing off.